This is Apple Classroom. Apple Classroom is a great way to monitor what your students are doing on their iPads. You can get the app from the self-service, and the app is just called Classroom. The iPad on the left will be my teacher iPad, and the iPad on the right will be my student iPad, so you can see how it works. So I'm going to go into the Classroom app. When you first go in, you'll have to put in your name. I've already done that, so that part did not pop up for me. Now I'm going to click Create Class. From here, you'll type in the name of your class. I would recommend doing your name followed by Block 1, Block 2, Homeroom, Switch Class, something like that. You can put in a description if you would like, and then you can also change the icon and the color of the class, and then say Done. Now to start the class, I just click on the class and then Add Students. So you cannot put in your students yourself. What you'll have to do is either set up the iPads for the students already or have the students go in and do this part. Either way is okay. But on the student iPad, you'll go into Settings. And then on the left-hand side, there will be a button that says Classroom. It'll show up right under Bluetooth. When you tap on that, now we have a new class invitation, and it says Add Clement's Homeroom. So that's the class that I just started. So I'm going to tap on that on the student iPad. If the iPad has been used for Apple Classroom before, then you might already see a name here. Otherwise, it'll prompt you to put in the student name. If there's a name there, you can change it by tapping on it and then deleting it and putting in the new name. It will accept it without a last name. Now we're going to put in the code. So on my teacher iPad, I have this 4-digit code, and I'm going to type that into the student iPads or have the students type it into their iPads. And then the student would say Add. As soon as the student taps on Add, I can now see it on the teacher iPad. I will be able to see rows and rows of students as they all join my class. Once they've all joined the class, then I'm going to click this button that says Add. And it takes it a sec. It'll start off with offline, but then it'll join my class. And I can see it pop up. This little icon here tells me what app they're currently in. So right now I can see the student iPad is in Settings. As I get out of Settings, that goes away. If I were to open up a different app, such as Poplet, then now I can see this icon has changed. I can also view what the students are looking at by tapping on Screens. And now I can see just a little icon of what each student sees. I can go into each student individually and click View Screen. That way I can see exactly what they're seeing, and it's in real time. So as the student iPad changes, then what I see on my device is also changing. I can mute the devices by clicking here. I can also lock devices. Whenever you first lock a device, it's going to ask the student iPad for permission to do that. Click Always Allow. I would definitely recommend setting up your students in advance. That way you can go ahead and tap Always Allow for being locked instead of waiting for the student to allow it. And then I can tap on Unlock to unlock it. I can open up an app for a student. So if I wanted them to go to Seesaw. I can tap on Seesaw and it'll automatically open that app for them. I can also click this, it says lock in app after opening. So I have to tap that first, and then once I send them to that app, then they won't be able to leave the app. So they can click on the home button as many times as they want, but it's not going to let them navigate away from it. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm hitting the home button on the student iPad and nothing's happening. To allow them to go somewhere else, I'm going to have to go back and click unlock. And so now, whenever I click the home button on the student iPad, it'll take me out. And then the navigate button is to take students to a website. You'll have to already have the website in your favorites. And then once you tap on it, it'll open up that website for them. So all of this was just doing things for an individual student. You can also do all of this for the class as a whole. So once I get out of the individual student view, then up here at the top, I have those same navigation buttons. So I can open an app for the entire class. I can navigate to a website for the entire class. I can lock the iPads of the entire class or mute all of the iPads. I can also create groups. So if I create a group, it's going to put students into the groups, and then I could lock just that one group or open an app just for that one group. Once I've started my class, if I end up having to add another student, then I can click this add button up at the top, and there'll be a new code. This probably is not going to be the same code that you started off with, but adding more students this way is not going to kick the other students out. Once you are done, then you can tap on End Class. It'll show you all of the apps that were used by all students. And then if you click on an individual student, you can see the apps that student went to and how long they were there. So that's a great way to see if students were staying on task. And then I'll say done. Once you have an iPad enrolled in your class, then that iPad will stay in your class. And so now if I go back to Clement's homeroom, all of those iPads that had already joined are automatically being mirrored again. So I can tap on screens and see what's happening. So that's why if you set this up ahead of time, especially for your younger students, or in order to always allow the screen to be locked, then that'll make it much more efficient once you get started with this with students. If you have any questions about Apple Classroom or need help getting it set up, just let me know. I would be more than happy to come out and help you.